A lot of expats who live here in Ecuador, they are on Social Security. They're retired, which is awesome. This is this the place to retire? It can definitely be the place to retire as long as you keep in mind this is not the United States. This is not Canada. Um, this place can be unsafe, um, and there are people here who do not make the federal minimum wage or basic income of $465 per month. And those people are very, very poor, and there's quite a few of them. And when they see Americans, foreigners, any kind of foreigners walking around buying lunch for $20, that's that's a lot of money. It's an obscene amount of money to spend for lunch for some people. Like they can't imagine that $20 would feed their family for 2, 3 weeks. So, and no, I'm not joking. It absolutely could. Anyway, um, those videos about working in Ecuador. Now I work remotely. You don't want to come here and try to take a local job. First of all, it's not going to pay very much. Um, I know people who have master's degrees, people who have doctorates, and they are barely eking up to middle class, which would be, $30,000 a year. That's huge money. That's big money here. It really is. That's big money. Um, but then there's ultra wealthy people here too. People buying Ford Raptors, which are I think over $150,000, and that's just once again obscene amounts of money. Um, so, what's it like to work here? Well, I'm not taking a local job. I'm going to be working, or I am working in the United States, but remotely. So, how is it working remotely here? First of all, always, if you're going to come here and you want to work, bring a job with you. Bring a remote job with you. It's going to be the best way to do it. Make sure that you have a U.S. or basically wherever you're coming from. Keep an address there. For the U.S., you definitely want to keep an address there. You are going to file taxes. You're going to be doing all that stuff. There is a income tax, foreign earned income. Um, for the IRS in the United States, where you can write off a large portion of your salary that won't be taxed. Excuse my terminology because I'm not 100% on it yet, but if you're here for a long period of time, years, or a year, a full year, um, a large portion of your salary doesn't get taxed in the United States, or they will decide not to tax it, and or give it back to you after you've already given it to them. So, yeah, that can be helpful. Especially you can also deduct things like, setting up a household, um, anything you have to do to live here. But anyway, so you've got yourself a remote job and you bring it from the United States. I would definitely let your remote job know that you are going to be working remotely, that you are going to be working in another country, um, because those conversations can be awkward once you tell them, hey, I don't have any power today, and they're going to be like, why don't you have any power today? There's no bad weather here, I'm in Ecuador, So working in Ecuador, I set up a space where when I'm in there, I'm working, period. Um, I also have purchased fiber optic internet. It's really inexpensive here. It's really inexpensive to get good fiber optic internet. The question is, all right, how good is it? Well, I was paying $20 a month for fiber optic internet, and I signed a 3-year deal because, whatever, 3 years, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but 3 years, sure, I'll pay that for now, and it worked really, really well. It worked really well when I first got it. I really liked it. I was able to work effectively. My meetings were excellent because they're all remote meetings. We use Microsoft Teams, a lot of video conferencing, audio conferencing, and I work on network systems. I'm also a developer, a software developer too. So, we do a lot of things, and I talk to a lot of people, and we do a lot of work, and it was working great. It was working great. And then, for some reason, they started throttling. Now, if you don't know what throttling is, it's where they decide that your connection shouldn't rise above a certain speed, um, and shouldn't have the rights to um, go faster than other people's connections. So anyway, they throttled my connection. Now, normally that's not a huge problem, but they're also not very good at it. The current company that I was using, they were just not very good at it. And what they were doing was essentially they would screw up my VPN into my work in the United States. It was constantly disconnecting and reconnecting. And I mean, it would be like seconds in between, but it was incredibly annoying. It was happening during meetings, which is incredibly annoying. Um, and and it's not good, especially when I made a deal with my company that I will make sure um, that it's as if I am there, So and that did not, and that started to be a problem, right? So it was not like I was there; I was constantly disconnecting. Um, this happened for about 3 or 4 days before I said, "That's it. I need something else." So I went and looked at something that I've been thinking about doing anyway, which is Starlink. Um, Starlink doesn't require me to go through any local networks. It just aims up to the sky, and here in Ecuador, since we're basically on the equator, the thing basically points straight up, which is pretty neat. Um, it points straight up almost, and it is incredibly effective. Incredibly effective. I've got zero obstructions, so it works really, really well. I get about 200 megabits per second down, 80, about 80 meg per second up, which is incredible. Now here in Ecuador, because I'm in Ecuador, um, everything was like half the price it is in the United States, including Starlink. Starlink, they shipped it to me, which is incredible because if there's another thing uh, that I find a struggle in Ecuador is the fact that there is no postal system. I mean, no, mailman doesn't come every day. They don't send your bills via mail. They they struggle a lot because of that. They struggle a lot without a postal system. But it dissolved. I don't know how long ago. I'll look more into that. I might do a whole video on the postal system. I have a friend who says, basically, all of Ecuador's problems are rooted in the fact that they don't have a postal system. So, and I mean, probably not wrong. I don't have a street address, right? I have to say, oh, it's at the corner of this and this, across from this, and that's how people find it. WhatsApp is really helpful in that way because you can drop a pin as to where you are. Like if I'm calling a taxi, and to be safe, I usually call a taxi instead of just grabbing one off the road. Is that being a little bit paranoid? Maybe, I don't know, but I do it anyway. Do it anyway. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'5", I'm 250 pounds, and I shouldn't have to worry about things like that. But hey, gun is the great leveler, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, they pull a gun on you and say, hey, get in the car. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. Anyway, so internet. Great, figured out internet. That's wonderful. The other problem in Ecuador, and especially very recently, is that there have been blackouts, planned blackouts because El Nino, which is a weather pattern here that hits every few years, has unfortunately caused there to be not enough rain in the right places to run the hydroelectric. And the hydroelectric plants, since they were built by the Chinese, not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but sometimes that stuff doesn't last. Yes, that's a cat. It's Hermione. The hydroelectric plants, they are not well maintained. Now, this is what the government is saying, and people always take whatever the government says, whatever government it is. They take it with a grain of salt because it may or may not be entirely true. I'm guessing that, yeah, maintenance wasn't done. Just looking around at a lot of things here, you can tell that hey, it may have started out okay for just about anything here, and then find out that the only problem is there's no maintenance, right? People don't want to pay for maintenance. Maintenance is a cost. Nobody wants to do it. So, so these hydroelectric plants are not outputting anywhere near what they're supposed to. So they started buying, the government of Ecuador started buying electricity from Colombia. We also saw that off the coast, they apparently have giant generator ships that were working for a while, and that's pretty interesting. These big ships, and they run big cables onto the shore, and they're just massive generator ships. You know, they're the size of cargo ships. They're huge. They're absolutely huge. Um, so, because you can't be 100% sure if you're going to have power or not, we bought a generator, and the generator runs our office, it runs our house, and it runs the other thing that's sometimes a problem. And you know, it's working. I know this whole video is about working here, but water is really, you know, a necessary thing. Obviously, I'm not going to drink, and if you don't know this, you probably shouldn't drink out of the tap. Um, but it is good for flushing toilets and things like that. You know, you want to wash your hands. You want to wash your hands a lot. Um, so if you don't have water, it's kind of annoying. And do we always know when we're not going to have water? No. Sometimes you will know. The neighborhood WhatsApp people will tell you. So every neighborhood has its own WhatsApp group, and they might tell you, "Hey, we're not going to have water from 2 to 5 today," or something like that. Um, you can check their Facebook. Yeah, the water company has a Facebook. You can check their Facebook, and their Facebook will tell you if they're going to turn it off or not. But that's not always true either. Um, so what a lot of places around here do, a lot of homes have a cisterna, or basically a huge thing that holds water. And we have one from the 1940s, which is really cool. And ours is underground, so we had it re-outfitted because there was, you know, it was just full of mud and crap, and we had it basically tiled, and then we have a pump that we can turn on. We had to secure the pump because you don't want to have an unsecured pump. You don't want to have an unsecured generator. These things are expensive, and they are an easy way for people to make money. So, um, so they want to steal it. They want to steal it. And like I said, any show of wealth against what some people, you know, don't even make the basic minimum stuff here. Um, they consider it okay in some circles to take it. So, um, so our pump works great when we turn on the water and it's not working. I can go flip a few valves and it will pump water from our underground cisterna instead. So we're doing pretty good as far as being self working, self sufficient. I wouldn't say we're self sufficient. We're not self sufficient, but we can overcome most of the problems so that I can work here remotely. Um, and as far as like, so what else do I need to work here remotely? I basically have everything I need, and being able to travel back and forth to the United States. That's another thing you need. Currently, I'm in I'm working on my permanent visa, and there is a point at which that you cannot leave, or you should not leave the country while waiting for your visa. And I'm at that point now. So I'm trying my darndest to get it done. Hopefully we're almost there. I think we're in the last leg of it. And then I can see you later. Then I can, hopefully I can travel then. And that's the other part of my work, is I do need to go back to the United States from time to time. There are things I need to do, people I need to see. People need to be able to take vacations, and I need to physically be there when they do it so that I can take their place and I can help them out. So anyway, that's my working in Ecuador now. Are there a lot of other things that you can do in Ecuador to earn money but not take away from the people here? Because there's a problem here that there are not enough jobs, not enough well-paying jobs for sure. And so you don't want to come here and try to take a job away from an Ecuadorian, any kind of job. You know, I wouldn't do that. It's disrespectful. I don't want people doing that in the United States, so of course you wouldn't do it here. And I do respect Ecuador. I respect it a great deal. There are things I absolutely love about Ecuador. Are there things I dislike about it? Sure. You're going to find videos all over the place that tell you this is what I don't like about Ecuador. Yeah, whatever. Every place is like that. You're going to find stuff you don't like about it. Yeah, the casual theft is a real pain in the butt, and especially for someone like me. Um, um, Taught my whole life you just would never do such a thing. It doesn't matter what state you are in or what state your family is in. You would never steal. You know, you would never do that. I don't know. I've never been in that situation where I'm starving to death, right? I don't know. You know, maybe I would. Or maybe I'm not even starving to death. Maybe I'm just looking around and seeing my country filled with foreigners who have a ton of money. I mean, a ton of money compared to me. You know, these foreigners might not be in their own country because it isn't a ton of money in their own country. So, yeah, I don't know. I see it both ways. But that's not what this video is about. Now we're getting a little long-winded. This is basically my second video. I don't know if I'll upload this way or not, or if I'll edit it. But who cares, right? That's not why you're here to talk. All right. Talk to you later.